Welcome back to AI Brief, everyone, episode 97. I'm Amin.
And I'm Leah. We're diving into the world of AI again for another deep dive.
Lots to cover today.
Yeah, we've got drama at OpenAI, a fascinating upgrade to that AI agent Manus. And well, this is pretty interesting. A study suggesting AI might be just as good as human therapists.
We've also got to look at a brand new startup taking a very different approach to AI. Plus, we'll touch on all the other exciting developments and new AI tools out there this week.
So much happening right now.
Right, like with OpenAI. There's this new book coming out, The Optimist. Sam Altman, OpenAI, and the Race to Invent the Future.
And it's supposed to give us the whole inside story of that crazy situation back in November when Altman was fired and then brought back as CEO.
It was such a whirlwind. From what we're hearing, it sounds like there was a lot of tension brewing behind the scenes.
Yeah. Early reports are suggesting that the chief technology officer at the time, Mira Murati, and the co-founder Ilya Sutskever, they had been sort of collecting evidence. They believed Altman was acting in ways that were toxic and also not being transparent.
And then there's this whole thing about Altman apparently owning part of OpenAI's startup fund that really caught people's attention.
Right, because the public was led to believe that the fund was run by the company directly, not by Altman personally.
And from what we understand, it was Sutskever who brought all this to the attention of the board member.
The independent ones, yeah.
Which then led to Altman being removed and Murati stepping in as that interim CEO for a really short time.
Then there were all those employee resignations, and the board decided to bring Altman back, which in turn led to Murati and Sutskever leaving the company.
It sounds like this book is going to be a must-read for anyone who wants to understand what really went down at OpenAI.
Yeah, and how it'll shape the future of the company. It comes out in May, so we'll definitely be taking a look at it.
Absolutely. Okay, so shifting gears a bit, let's talk about AI agents. Specifically, Butterfly Effect's Manus. It's gotten a pretty big upgrade.
This is one to watch, for sure.
Some users were actually saying that Manus was outperforming OpenAI's operator even before this update.
Right. And now they've added Claude 3.7, which, that's a serious improvement.
Yeah. And it's not just the model upgrade. They've released a Manus mobile app, made the context window bigger so it can handle more back and forth, and they even have premium subscriptions now.
It's great to see this kind of progress and competition in the AI agent space. These things are getting really sophisticated.
They are. Although I did see some people complaining online that they're stuck on the wait list, even after weeks.
Yeah, that's happening a lot with these new tools. It seems like the demand is way higher than anyone anticipated.
Okay, well, let's move on to something completely different. Researchers at Dartmouth College have been looking into how AI could be used to help with mental health. And the results are pretty surprising.
I was really intrigued when I saw this study.
It seems they've developed this AI. It's a large language model, an LLM, trained specifically for therapy. They call it Therabot.
So LLMs are what powers a lot of those advanced language tools that are out there now.
Right. And what's remarkable is that the study found that Therabot was just as effective as traditional therapists.
That's huge. They saw a 51% reduction in depression symptoms and a 31% reduction in anxiety symptoms in the people who used Therabot.
And those improvements were basically the same as what you'd expect to see with cognitive behavioral therapy led by a human.
It's still early days, and more research is needed, but it really raises questions about how AI could be used to increase access to mental health care.
Absolutely. Now, we've also got news about a familiar face in the tech world. Emmett Shear, who was briefly the extremely interim CEO of OpenAI during all that drama, has started a new company called Softmax.
I'm very curious to see where this goes.
What's really interesting is that he's taking a biological approach to AI development. His idea is that we can learn a lot from how cooperation works in nature.
It makes sense. Think about how cells in our body work together, or how ants in a colony coordinate, or even how trees in a forest interact. If we can understand that, maybe it can lead to safer, more aligned AI.
It's a unique way of looking at things.
Yeah.
And his team at Softmax is already running experiments. They're seeing how different AI agents work together in virtual worlds.
A team of 10 people working on that. I'm excited to see what they come up with.
Me too. Okay, so moving on to some other AI news from this past week. Google has made its Gemini 2.5 Pro experimental model available for free to anyone.
Oh, wow. So even non-subscribers can try it out.
Yep. And it's currently ranked #1 on the LMArena leaderboard, which is a pretty big deal.
It is, but there's a catch, right?
Well, there are rate limits if you're not a paid subscriber, so that's something to keep in mind.
Makes sense.
And speaking of OpenAI, Sam Altman hinted that they might be working on their own computer.
Really?
Yeah. In response to a post online, he said they were going to make a really cute one. Who knows what that means?
I'm picturing something tiny and sleek, very Apple-esque.
Maybe. People who use ChatGPT have also reported seeing a new slider, a thinking slider, which sounds pretty cool.
What does it do?
It seems like it lets you control how deeply the model processes your request. So if you need a quick answer, you can adjust it one way. But if you want it to do a lot of research, you can make it think harder.
Oh, that's clever. Giving users more control.
Yeah. Okay, so in terms of how well these AIs are doing, Google's Gemini 2.5 Pro Experimental apparently scored a 130 on Mensa Norway's IQ test.
Wow.
Not only is that the best score any AI has ever gotten on that test, it's actually higher than the average human score.
That is impressive. And a little bit scary, to be honest.
Right. Baidu's ERNIE 4.5 also showed what it can do. It beat OpenAI's GPT 4.5 in every single match they played of Chinese chess.
Oh, that's interesting. So it seems like different models might excel in different areas.
Yeah, maybe. Okay, so Extropic AI has given us more information about its probabilistic computer chips.
This is the company that claims their chips are, what, 10,000 times more efficient than traditional hardware?
Yeah, that's the one. If they can deliver on that, it could be a game changer.
No doubt. And what about Replit? They just announced their Agent V2 model.
Yep, it's out now for all users. And they're saying it has a much higher success rate for building AI applications.
Interesting. And it has more autonomy too, right?
Right. Okay, so Imad Mustak, one of the co-founders of Stability AI, he has this new project called Intelligent Internet.
Right, and they've just released this open source deep research agent called AI Researcher.
They claim it's even better at research tasks than some of the other big names out there, like XAI and Perplexity.
That's a bold claim. But hey, competition's good, right?
Absolutely.
Yeah.
Okay. Sesame, the company that makes those really lifelike voice bots, well, they're letting users log in now for 30-minute calls with avatars.
Oh, cool. So like video calls with AI.
Pretty much. And it has shared memory
Yeah.
across devices. So the conversation can continue seamlessly.
Sounds like they're trying to make the experience more human-like and engaging.
Yeah, I think that's the goal. And finally, Facebook says it's going to add a friends-only tab to its platform.
About time. People have been asking for something like this for ages.
It seems like they're trying to get back to their roots a little bit, focusing on connecting people rather than algorithms and advertising.
We'll see if it works.
Yeah, only time will tell. We've also got a bunch of cool new AI tools to talk about.
I'm ready. Hit me with it.
Okay, so there's QVQ Max. It's an advanced visual reasoning model from Qwen. Then there's Flora, which is this interesting, intelligent canvas that combines all kinds of creative AI tools.
Sounds useful.
And Microsoft 365 Copilot now has researcher and analyst AI agents.
Yeah.
For helping people with all those annoying work tasks.
Okay. And what about NVIDIA? What have they been up to?
They've announced Project G Assist, which is supposed to be an AI assistant specifically for gaming PCs.
Ooh, that can be interesting. Gamers love their tech.
For web development, there's this new tool called WebWave. It's supposed to make building websites super fast and easy.
I can't keep up.
I know, right? And then there's MeetGeek, which automatically records, transcribes, and summarizes your meetings.
Ooh, that sounds like a time saver.
And ReVimage. It generates realistic images from text without you having to know all those complicated prompting techniques.
That's something I could definitely use.
And lastly, Epiphany. It takes your voice notes and turns them into tasks in your workflow apps.
Wow, these are some impressive tools.
They really are. So that pretty much wraps up our AI deep dive for this week. I hope you found it insightful.
Definitely a lot to think about.
If you enjoyed it, please follow and share AI Brief with others. I mean, just imagine what it would mean if AI could truly match human therapists. Or if we could unlock the secrets of cooperation in nature to build better artificial intelligence. The possibilities are amazing.
Yeah. The future of AI is unfolding right before our eyes.
Exactly. And we'll be here to explore it all with you. See you next time.
Until then, stay curious.